An NBA season tips off, the ratings jump, the product looks fun again, and a guy who has been marketed as the face of the league for 20 years is sitting at home with sciatica. That is awkward. We just got the official report on the first 2 full weeks of national TV games. Viewership is up, not just up. The numbers are the highest for this window since 2010, when Kobe Bryant was still the final boss of basketball and LeBron had just taken his talents to South Beach. Opening night on NBC and Peacock pulled 5.61 million viewers, the biggest October opener in 15 years. That is usually finals territory for recent seasons. So what changed if the NBA did not add 4 extra baskets or let players bring scooters on fast breaks? Simple. The NBA accidentally ran a little experiment. LeBron James was out, the self-proclaimed king. The guy with chosen one on his back, and that one right there may be the greatest player of all time on tape after the 2016 comeback.
That one right there made me the greatest player of all time.
The same guy the league has tried to turn into a one-man streaming service for a decade. And for a couple of weeks, the show actually had room to breathe. Now, to be fair, LeBron didn't invent everything people complain about. Load management was a group project. Super teams existed before him. But from around 2011 to 2020, he was the tour guide for the era. Player empowerment, big threes, friends teaming up, regular seasons that felt like waiting rooms. Fans watched him move from one stacked roster to the next, collect rings, and still tell us he was the underdog. Meanwhile, defensive effort dropped, stars played fewer games, and the contracts climbed into "you just bought 3 small countries" money. You can guess how that looks to someone paying full price to watch starters rest in street clothes. Now, line that up with the numbers. Last regular season, national games across ABC, ESPN, and TNT averaged 1.53 million viewers. The year before, it was 1.56 million. That is a 2% drop. On paper, 2% sounds small. On TV, it's the difference between "we are stable" and executives staring at spreadsheets at 3 a.m. And here's the funny part. While the NBA crept down, the WNBA started charging up. ESPN and ABC WNBA coverage has been floating around 1.2 to 1.3 million viewers per game lately, with multiple broadcasts over the 1 million mark. When your big brother league is at 1.53 million and little sister is flying past 1.2 million, people in suits start having very serious meetings. Now, fast forward to this season. LeBron's sciatica gets announced on October 9. The timetable is 4 to 6 weeks. He's almost 41 in December, year 23 in the league, so you kind of expect the back to start filing complaints. JJ Redick, now the head coach in Los Angeles and LeBron's ex-podcast partner, tells reporters that LeBron is ramping up with the Lakers' G League affiliate. Yes, the all-time leading scorer doing G League practices. That is a sentence nobody had on their bingo card. Redick says the plan is simple. Work out with the G League squad, get his legs back under him, then return to the main stage, possibly as soon as the 5-week mark in that injury window. Until then, you have a very strange picture. Bronny on the Lakers bench, LeBron in the G League gym. The rookie will not be sent back down once his dad returns, which means the Lakers' real development group is basically watching from the cheap seats while the drama plays out. And here's the twist. Without LeBron, the Lakers are 8-3. 4th seed in a loaded Western Conference. Luka Doncic is putting up something close to a 37-point triple-double in purple and gold. Austin Reeves is randomly living in a 31 points and 9 assists per game universe. The team is humming, the ball is moving, and nobody's doing a 20-second stare into a baseline camera after an and one. If you're a Laker, how do you say this out loud at practice without getting traded? Quick glove touch with the algorithm before we push deeper. Tap like, hit subscribe, ring that little bell. It tells YouTube you like your basketball with stats, jokes, and just a tiny bit of chaos, because the rest of the league is wild right now. Nikola Jokic looks like he's on year 6 in a row of having a career year. The man keeps stacking numbers like they're plates at an all-you-can-eat buffet. Giannis Antetokounmpo is still driving to the rim like the paint owes him money. Luka, as we said, is doing video game stuff every night. Victor Wembanyama has the Spurs sitting in the 2 seed in the West. The "this kid might break basketball" theory is looking less like a hot take and more like a Monday recap. Then there's Oklahoma City. Last year, the Thunder went 68-14, best record in the league, historic point differential. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander grabbed the 2025 MVP while averaging over 32 points. They then went on to win the title. Now they open this season 11-1. They already have one 68-win year in the bag. They're legitimately chasing 70. If they pull it off, they would become just the 3rd team in NBA history to hit that mark. This is not a niche storyline. It's one of the great young cores we've ever seen. And the East is not exactly quiet. The young Detroit Pistons are 9-2 with Cade Cunningham running the show. That sentence would have gotten you laughed off the internet 3 years ago. Now it's just another, wait, what notification on your phone? In other words, the league is packed with new main characters. So why, for years, did the marketing look like one long LeBron highlight tape surrounded by commercials instead of a whole playlist of different stars? For a long time, the story was simple. Kobe was the guy. Then somewhere around 2019 and 2020, Giannis quietly took the crown on the court. Then from around 2021 onward, Jokic entered the chat and never really left. On a pure basketball level, most people who watch every night know LeBron has not been the best player on the planet for years. You can even argue he hasn't been the clear best player on his own team for a while. But the marketing never updated its software. Commissioner Adam Silver kept building national TV schedules around the idea that LeBron equals ratings. Slap Lakers on Thursday, Sunday, Christmas, and call it a day. Even when the product around him got slower, even when his effort on defense took long coffee breaks, even when young stars were putting up wild stat lines in smaller markets. Here's where the numbers punch through the nostalgia. Over the last few years, big national NBA games have hovered around that 1.5 to 1.6 million range. That was a step down from the late 2010s, when the Warriors vs. Cavs trilogy and peak LeBron in Cleveland had casual fans locked in. Cord cutting hurt, start times hurt, load management hurt. Add all that up, and by the time you get to 2024-2025, regular season ratings are scraping the lowest level since the early 70s if you adjust for how many homes still even have cable. Now suddenly, you remove the league's old security blanket for 3 weeks. You give NBC the opener back. You put Thunder vs. Rockets and other fresh matchups on broadcast TV. You let Wemby, Shai, Luka, Giannis, and company breathe on primetime. And surprise, you get the most watched opening night since LeBron's first Heat game in 2010. You get a reported 92% increase in national viewership for those first 2 weeks compared to last season. Did LeBron personally black 92% of the potential viewers from their remotes? Of course not. But when the ball swings around and suddenly the camera is not parked on one aging superstar every other night, people at home clearly don't mind. Meanwhile, salaries are still exploding. The new media deals are lined up. Supermax contracts are going to make Shai and others the highest paid players in history. The money is not shrinking. What needs to grow is trust that the regular season actually matters to the stars on the floor. That's where the LeBron conversation moves from he left the league in shambles to real business talk. For a decade, the message from the top of the player food chain often looked like this: ring chase now, sit later. Choose your spots. Talk about legacy more than Tuesday games in January. When the face of the league plays that way and talks that way, younger players take notes. Fans do too. So, when people say he left the league in shambles, that's what they mean. Not that he ruined basketball skill. He raised the skill bar sky high, but he also helped build a culture where the regular season became optional TV. The last 3 weeks showed the opposite. Every night there's a, wait, I need to see that game. Young cores in Detroit and Oklahoma City. Wemby doing alien things on television. Jokic doing math live on television. Giannis trying to break rims. Luka in Hollywood. All of it without a single forced "is this LeBron's last dance" graphic on the screen. Of course, the break is ending. LeBron is almost ready to come back from that G League ramp-up. Once he returns, you know how this goes. The national TV schedule will probably lean back into the Lakers. The lower back will be questioned before every broadcast. Someone somewhere will bring up that 2016 quote about being the greatest of all time. And the NBA will stand at a fork in the road. Do you keep pretending the NBA is one long epilogue to the LeBron story, or do you accept what the last few years on the court already told you? That the actual best players in the world right now are named Jokic, Giannis, Shai, Luka, and maybe a 7'4" French rookie who blocks three-pointers for fun. Fans have already answered with their remotes. So here's the real headline buried inside all the hot takes. The NBA is not just ready to move on from LeBron. It already started, quietly. With ratings, with new media deals, with new champions, and a 68-win Thunder team that doesn't care about anyone's legacy debates, with a WNBA that's suddenly pulling million-viewer nights of its own, with kids who know Wemby highlights better than old Miami Heat montages. LeBron turns 41 in December. The end of his career was close. That's normal. Every legend ages out. The question is whether the NBA finally treats his late years like what they are, a bonus chapter, not the whole book. If these first few weeks without him have proved anything, it's simple. The NBA product works just fine when the king is off the board. Some would say it works better. If you want more episodes of Is the League Over It's Yet, tap like, tag in that subscribe button, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next plot twist. Because the way this season is going, the crown might change hands before we even reach the playoffs. Peace.